Most men wake up every day already losing. Not because the world's against them, but because they're against themselves. They hit snooze, scroll through their phone, watch meaningless content, and chase validation like a starving dog. You think you're going to attract a powerful, feminine, high-value woman like that. You can't even control your own damn mind. You can't even get out of bed when it's time. You can't even say no to a donut or a distraction, and you want her to be obsessed with you. What she's obsessed with, what any woman is drawn to, is a man who's obsessed with himself. Not in a narcissistic way, in a disciplined way, in a dangerous way, in a way that says, I've been through hell, and I chose to stay there until I became fireproof. Self-mastery isn't sexy because it's flashy. It's sexy because it's rare. It's a man who doesn't flinch, a man who doesn't beg, a man who walks into a room and doesn't need to prove a damn thing. Because everything about him says he's built for war. He's sculpted, not just in the gym, but in the mind. His body tells a story. His eyes carry storms. His energy tells her everything without saying a word. He's not playing her game. He's too busy building his empire. And the irony? That's the very thing that pulls her in. She feels it in her gut, this man doesn't need me. And that makes her want him more. Most dudes operate from fear. Fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of not being liked. So they chase. They text too much. They compliment too often. They wait on her every move. That's not desire. That's desperation dressed up in fake confidence. Women don't want that. They want a man who commands himself. A man who walks away without second guessing. A man who can look at her, feel the attraction, and still choose himself if she doesn't align with his mission. Self-mastery is the highest form of respect. It's telling the world I run my shit. My emotions, my hunger, my lust, my time. It all bends to me. You become unpredictable. Not because you're playing games, but because you're genuinely focused. You're not available every hour of the day. You're not on social media spilling your soul. You're in the shadows, sharpening your sword. You're at the gym when others are out partying. You're up before the sun when others are chasing sleep. You're building, grinding, bleeding for your future. That energy is rare. That energy is magnetic. She's not going to tell you this, but she feels it. A man in control of himself ignites something primal in a woman. It's not logical, it's biological. It bypasses her thoughts and goes straight to her instincts. Her eyes lock in, her curiosity grows, and before she even understands why, she starts thinking about you more, wondering what you're doing, who you're with, why you're not chasing her like every other guy in her inbox. Most men talk too damn much. They talk because they're nervous. They talk because they want to impress. They talk because silence makes them uncomfortable. But here's the truth. Real power doesn't need to announce itself. Real power walks into the room and doesn't say a word, and yet every head turns. That's not magic. That's presence. That's the silence of a man who knows who he is. And that silence, it's louder than anything you could ever say. You want her obsessed. Then stop overexposing yourself. Stop trying to explain every move you make. Stop giving her the full tour of your mind before she's earned a damn key. Mystery breeds desire. When she can predict you, she gets bored. When she knows exactly when you're going to text, how you're going to respond, when you're going to compliment her, she loses interest. Not because you're not good enough, but because you've become too accessible, too easy to figure out, too eager to please. And when that happens, the energy dies. When you don't chase, when you sit back and let her wonder where you are, what you're doing, who you're doing it with, that creates tension. That tension is fuel. It's what makes her start checking your page. It's what makes her reread old texts. It's what makes her wonder why your name hasn't popped up on her phone like it used to. You've just flipped the script. She's now chasing the silence. She's leaning in to figure you out. That's where obsession begins. Not when you give her all of you, but when you give her just enough to stay curious. Silence is uncomfortable for weak men. They feel the need to fill it with jokes, compliments, validation. But a strong man, a disciplined man, he uses silence as a weapon. He lets his presence speak. He lets his body language carry the weight. He doesn't need to fill in the blanks, because the mystery is the message. It says, I'm not here to entertain you. I'm here because I chose to be. And if you want to be in this space, you're going to have to bring something real. It's not about playing games. It's about knowing your value so deeply that you don't have to constantly prove it. When you speak, it hits different, because you're not always speaking. When you text, it matters, because you're not always available. When you compliment, it lands, because it's not coming from a place of need. Every move becomes intentional. Every absence becomes noticed. That's how you build obsession, not by flooding her with attention, but by being the man who's rare to access, hard to read, and even harder to forget. The less you reveal, the more she feels. You become a puzzle she wants to solve. You become the chapter she keeps rereading because it didn't give her all the answers. Your silence becomes a mirror, forcing her to reflect, to question, to chase. Most men live their lives with their priorities upside down. They worship women and neglect themselves. They chase pleasure and forget purpose. They'll cancel the gym for a date. They'll skip a work session just to sit on the phone for hours hoping to build a connection. That's not love. That's weakness dressed up as romance. And the cold truth, she can smell it. She knows when you've placed her above your mission. And the second she feels that, the obsession dies. Why? Because no woman wants to be your purpose. She wants to witness your purpose. Purpose isn't optional for a man. It's oxygen. Without it, you suffocate. Without it, you drift. You lose your edge. And when a man loses his edge, he loses everything. The fire in your eyes, gone. The discipline in your routine, sloppy. The hunger in your chest, replaced by comfort. And comfort is the death of attraction. A man on a mission walks different, talks different. He doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate with laziness. He doesn't explain why he's unavailable. He's simply unavailable because he's locked in. You want to know why she's not thinking about you the way you think about her. It's because you've put her at the center of your universe. You're spinning around her, hoping she chooses you, while your goals rot in the background. That energy repels her. She wants to orbit you. She wants to feel the gravity of your grind pulling her in, not the neediness of your attention pushing her away. The man who's truly focused on his mission becomes the man she can't stop thinking about, because his energy is moving forward, with or without her. The world has sold men the lie that love means sacrifice. But the only thing you should ever sacrifice is weakness. Sacrifice distraction. Sacrifice comfort, not your dream, not your path. She'll test you. She'll try to pull you away from it, even unconsciously. Not because she wants to ruin you, but because she wants to feel how solid you are. She wants to feel that nothing, not even her, can take you off your track. That's what makes her feel safe. That's what earns her respect. And without respect, obsession can't even begin. When your mind is locked on your goals, when your life is structured around discipline, progress, and self-respect, you stop craving external validation. You stop needing someone to text you back to feel worthy. You stop bending to the mood of the day. You start becoming unshakable, and that's when you become attractive on a level most men never reach. Because you're not trying to be loved, you're trying to become undeniable. That energy radiates. That energy shifts the room. That energy makes her look at you and realize she's not dealing with a boy looking for attention. She's dealing with a man built for war, built for legacy, built to conquer. The grind is what separates you. The mission is what defines you. When you put purpose over pussy, you stop chasing and start drawing her in through gravity, not effort, gravity. Confidence isn't loud. It's not the guy yelling in the gym. It's not the dude flashing his money or showing off his car. That's just noise. Real confidence is cold. It's calm. It's the quiet storm that walks in without saying a word and still takes control of the entire room. Because it's not about being seen. It's about being felt. And that kind of presence doesn't come from pretending to be a man. It comes from becoming one. A man who is truly confident doesn't seek approval. He doesn't fish for compliments. He doesn't need to be the center of attention. He's not trying to prove anything to anyone, because he already knows who he is. He's done the work in silence. He's suffered when no one was watching. He's gone to war with his own weakness, and he's won. That builds something inside of you that no Instagram quote ever could. It builds stillness. It builds edge. It builds that unshakable calm that people notice but can't explain. When a woman sees that kind of man, her instincts respond before her brain does. It's not the way he talks. It's the way he holds himself, the way he walks, the way he listens, the way he stays composed when other men crumble. That kind of confidence doesn't chase, doesn't beg, doesn't flinch. It creates a contrast, and in that contrast, attraction is born. Because she's used to men trying too hard, trying to impress, trying to entertain, trying to win her over. But now, here's a man who doesn't need her, but could choose her. That's power. That's pull. Cold confidence is built, not bought. It's the result of keeping promises to yourself. Waking up when you said you would. Training when you didn't feel like it. Sticking to your code when it would have been easier to fold. Every small win stacks, every discipline compounds, and over time, you stop walking into the world hoping things go your way. You start expecting it, not from arrogance, but from preparation. That quiet expectation in your energy, it's addictive. It's unforgettable. It's what keeps her thinking about you long after you're gone. Most guys think confidence is about getting her attention. Real confidence is about being able to walk away if she doesn't meet your standard. It's not about being emotionless. It's about being emotionally disciplined. You don't react. You don't spiral. You assess, decide, and move. That cold precision, that calm aggression, it hits different. It's what makes her look twice. It's what makes her wonder what you've been through. It's what makes her obsessed. Not with your words, but with your energy. You don't have to say much when your energy says it all. When your presence feels like control. When your silence feels like strength. That's what burns into her memory. Not how many jokes you told, not how many compliments you gave, but how still you remained while everyone else was busy trying to impress. Predictability kills attraction. It's the slow poison that turns fire into ash. When a man's moves become too familiar, too easy to read, she stops chasing. She stops wondering. She stops feeling the spark. You want obsession. You need to be the unknown, the puzzle she can't solve, the storm she wants to chase but never quite catches. Mystery isn't just a tactic. It's a lifestyle. It's the art of being emotionally controlled, strategically unavailable, and always just out of reach. Being mysterious doesn't mean playing games or lying. It means holding your cards close because you know your worth. It means not giving her everything at once because you understand that value is created through scarcity. You don't spill your entire story on the first date. You don't answer every text immediately. You don't reveal all your plans or all your feelings on demand. You let her fill in the gaps with curiosity. You let her imagination run wild while you stay locked on your mission. Women instinctively want what they can't fully grasp. They want to chase the man who isn't desperate for their approval. The man who doesn't need to explain himself or justify his absence. When you're emotionally controlled, you're not reacting to every mood swing or every need. You're steady. You're calm. That stability is rare, and rare breeds desire. She's going to test you, push boundaries, try to crack the code. But you hold your ground. You don't fold. You don't over-explain. You don't cave. Strategic unavailability is part of this mystery. It's not about ignoring her or being cold. It's about knowing when to engage and when to pull back. When you're always available, you lose power. When you're selectively present, you become a prize. Absence doesn't just make the heart grow fonder. It forces her to check in on you, wonder where you are, and crave your attention. That craving is the spark that turns into obsession. Always building your empire means your focus isn't just on her, but on yourself. She sees you creating, conquering, evolving. She sees a man who is constantly improving, never settling, never complacent. That drive, that hunger is magnetic. It's a signal that you're not a man to be caught easily. You're a man who's got bigger battles to fight and bigger mountains to climb. And she wants to be part of that journey, not the destination. Mystery also means owning your silence when the world demands noise. It means showing up with confidence but saying less. It means being the calm in the chaos. When you hold your emotions in check, you don't just attract her, you captivate her. You become the story she tells her friends. The man who left her wondering. The man she can't stop thinking about because you refuse to be an open book. The less she knows, the more she feels. The more she feels, the harder she falls. It's not manipulation, it's mastery. Mastery of self, mastery of energy, mastery of desire. And that's how you make a woman sexually obsessed without chasing her. Here's the real talk you need to hear. Obsession doesn't come from chasing, begging, or putting her above yourself. It comes from the relentless pursuit of your own greatness. When you master yourself, your mind, your purpose, your confidence, your silence, you become a force that no woman can ignore. You become the man who commands attention without asking for it, who pulls her in with gravity instead of desperation. That's not luck. That's discipline. That's strategy. That's power. You don't chase obsession. You become obsession. And once you do, everything else falls into place.